Wake up, wake up. That's right. 49ers, the off day between the joint practice and preseason game number one. I'm here. Damon's here. You're here. Let's freaking go. Come aboard.
It is Friday, August 8th, and like Larry just said, one more wake up until we actually get a 49ers football game. A very spirited practice with the Denver Broncos is what everyone is talking about. That happened yesterday down in Santa Clara. The bigger of the two shows was probably that practice in terms of what coaches are looking at, reps for starters, because we're not going to see a lot of starters for either team, rightfully so, in the preseason game. Any of these guys get hurt, and it's a nightmare early on. Larry, before we get into the nuts and bolts of Mikael Williams and some injury concerns and all of that, hello, good to see you. Happy football, buddy. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, seriously, I'm fired up. And, you know, as we always do at the start, we thank our sponsors, and thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Damon and Mary, the owners of Pig and a Pickle, have really been with me since the outset of the Krug Show, and I voiced spots for them on KMBR once upon a time, and they showed great loyalty to me, and they have through the years. So thank you to Pig and a Pickle.
Always trusted Damon. Always trusted Damon. Just trust
right.
guys named Damon.
Yeah, and Damon and Mary, the owners of Pig and a Pickle, are absolutely great people. So check them out. I mean, I'm not touting this because they're great people. I'm touting this because they got a great restaurant, and it's a fantastic. You'll enjoy it. I mean, the brisket chili, the chicken, you name it. It's all really, really, really good, and you're going to love it all. Check them out. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out, so don't get there at 7:45 and think, man, I'm just going to have everything. And then also thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue down in Pacific Grove. The great Anthony Catania is at 831-521-5264, and he's a great follow on Instagram at Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. And then thanks to Claudaddy Arcades. Claudaddy Arcades is one of my newest sponsors, but also one of my favorites. He is at great follow on Instagram on IG at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find a location near you. They got brand new locations opening in Capitola Mall down in the South Bay, and as well as Visalia Mall in the Central Valley later on this year. Claudaddy Arcades, for those of you who caught my video yesterday on atop the parking structure, you notice that I have a brand new wireless mic setup that is way, way, way better than just using the phone straight out, and that's all courtesy of Claudaddy. So, Claudaddy, thank you very much for that little infusion of cash into our show, into our channel. We appreciate you, buddy, and thanks to Claudaddy Arcades for sponsoring the Krug Show. And I know, Damon, you have sponsors on your own side that you'd love to shout out.
Claudaddy improving the sound daddy. That's very good. Excellent job. I love hearing that. Yeah. And let me just also echo about Pig and a Pickle. They're not paying me jack. That's delicious freaking barbecue. Go get some. Go do it now. When you need your sandwich daddy, though, to come back in around. That is Ike. I want to thank Ike. You talk about being there since day one. I know it meant a lot to you that Pig and a Pickle was there from day one. My man Ike was there from day one as I launched this YouTube channel. He's been the title sponsor of the Plus, and I thank him so very much. Go get yourself an Ike's sandwich this weekend. You'll be very, very happy that you did. And our good friends at the Dubliner in West Portal, a great place to sit down with a Guinness and watch a little 49ers and Broncos on Saturday night starting at 5:30. Our friend Guy Haberman filling in for Greg Papa. Again, Greg, get well. Guy, break a leg. Really interested in looking for that broadcast. I will be simulcasting a live stream, a live watch party of a preseason game. We must all be insane. That's where we are here. But this is where we are. And Larry, let's just hop right into it because, you know.
One quick thought on Ike. You know, thank you to Ike if he's watching. You know, Ike took care of our expenses, our hotel accommodations through, you know, the entire week of the Super Bowl in Vegas when the Niners were there. And I just, you know, I want to thank Ike for that. Awesome. Ike's awesome. Ike Sandwiches is great. And then also thanks to the people at the Dubliner. I had a chance to meet them at the Guardsman dinner, sat next to the people from the Dubliner, and it's a great spot. If I'm in West Portal, I'm hitting the Dubliner.
It's too bad that dumpling place still closed, Larry. God, I love that. But Larry turned me on to a dumpling spot.
Yeah.
It instantly became my favorite dumpling spot, and 6 months later, it was closed. And I was like, damn. Anyway, it's great. We got Anthony.
London. Bang, bang. Thank you, London Breed. On that
Seriously, bang, 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 Niner gang, all the way from Maryland. Terps in the house. Let's go. Anthony, it's great to see so many 49er fans picking this show to gather and get your information. And, here's the thing. You got to trust your source, right? Any relationship is built on trust. Larry, I think you trust me to keep things in the middle of the fairway. I certainly trust you to have eyeballs on practices that I don't see. I think you're a good source of information. You're not some house organ, and you're not there just trying to shit on everything the 49ers do, and I really appreciate that. There is bias in media. And all you need to do is open up your Twitter page. And if you follow some Denver Broncos reporters, the story is yesterday, the Denver Broncos won the fucking Super Bowl. If you follow some 49ers reporters, they'll tell you, hey, Denver got off to a good start. But by the end of that practice, man, the 49ers, rah. So the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? But the indications are that Denver came out and held control of that practice early on. Did you get that sense, Larry?
Well, okay. First of all, you know the way these practices work. First, there's the individual team, the individual drills. So then the Niners and Broncos came out. It's funny too because they go to one practice, they know everything. It's like the Niners have a bunch of injuries because they don't stretch as a team. It's like, yes, they stretch as a team, whether you see it or not.
Stretch? Who said
because
that?
The Niners come out on the field and they stretch inside. Nobody just starts practicing without stretching. They limber up and stretch. The Broncos stretch like a high school team does, and they're on the road, right? They have no real, setup in their locker room. Plus the home locker room is 5 times larger than the road locker room. So they stretched on the field in like a high school formation, regular lines, like a college team would do, like a lot of NFL teams do on the field often. People are like, oh, the Niners don't stretch. That's why they get hurt. No, the Niners do stretch. But you come out and there's individual drills. And so the individual Niners are with Niners, Denver's with Denver. They, not together. Then you got into the team drills, but the individual team drills. So now it's Niners O-line against Denver's D-line. It's Denver's D-line, Denver's O-line against the Niners D-line. And this is when you had to kind of like pick your area of the field, right? Which you often have to do for normal practice. For dual team practices, you really have to pick your area of the field. So I chose Niners D-line against Denver's O-line. I wanted to see.
That's where I would go too. I'm the first guys I want to see always are defensive linemen. I like sled drills. That's where I am. So yes, I think you chose wisely.
Well, and I want to see how the Niner O-line stands up to this good Denver D-line too. But I really want to see the mini Hulk, Sebastian Valdez. I want to see Collins. I want to see West. I want to see Bosa. I want to see these guys going up against Quinn Miners and a pretty good Denver offensive line. So then I'm watching that, and I would say the Niner young guys, first of all, Denver got more wins than losses in the one-on-ones, and their linemen did better against the Niners than the Niner linemen have been doing in recent practices. So it kind of told you that Denver's got a better O-line than the Niners, just by the way it went down. But then you got into the individual. Alfred Collins had his best day. He really looked good. Sebastian Valdez had a rep against the starting guard for the Broncos Powers that it was one of the best reps Valdez has had, and he's had a lot of good ones. He just made this guy whiff, and everybody was like, everybody kind of took a collective groan as he spun into the quarterback or the backup offensive lineman pretending to be the quarterback. And then, Bosa looked pretty good. Definitely the Niner rookies, Valdez, West, and Collins really showed well. So that was the initial thing. And I wasn't sure how they would fare because, especially Valdez, because I asked Saleh about Valdez. I'm like, Robert, Valdez is looking like a ton. He's like, we'll know what's real and what isn't when Denver rolls in. Well, guess what? Sebastian Valdez is freaking real because he made Denver look as bad as he made the Niners look. And he is absolutely real. So that was the first thing. Collins was great. West was really good. And Valdez was amazing. Another guy is Bradley Anai, who they signed from Utah, who doesn't have great measurables. He's got 4.9 speed, but he's got great hand usage and he knows how to rush the passer. He had 30 career sacks at Utah and he's figuring it out in the NFL. He had a number of really good reps where he got to the face of the quarterback. So I thought in that drill, the Niner D-line definitely held their own and really got several wins. So that's the young Niner line against the, one of the, a top tier, let's say. I'm not saying one of the better, but let's just say a top level NFL offensive line. And they held their own and then some. So it started really, really well. Then we got into the team period, and all of a sudden, the Trent Williams was kept out of 11 on 11s. So now you have Burford at left tackle, and you have McKivitz at right tackle, Pooney at right guard, Barch at left guard, and Brendel at center. So the Niners' first team line, except for Trent, and the Broncos.
Way, that is a huge mouthful. By the way. That you cannot have a starting offensive line except for Trent. Trent is the starting offensive line. So I'm not surprised to hear the whole unit looked less than without him. That's how important he is for the entire unit.
Yeah, no question. But here's how the thing started. Okay. This is, I knew we were going to go, I knew this was going to be like we need a better account of this. So I literally went through and listed the plays one, and I just lined them up down the page, not just notes like I do in normal practices. I actually listed them in without missing any. This is how the plays started. First play, Nick Bonito beats his man, tackles CMC for a loss in the backfield. Denver's sidelines woofing. Second play, Purdy to Pearsall, tons of pressure in Purdy's face, and he throws too high to Pearsall. And after the end of that, somebody from the sideline, I don't know who it was like, what the hell? Like pissed that there was so much pressure on Purdy's face. Now, I don't know if that was Firster, a backup O-line coach, one of the Niner O-linemen. I gotta think he came from the Niner side. It was hard to tell, but somebody yelled something. All right, that was the second play. Third play, Taylor runs, and 98 John Franklin Myers blows him up. Absolute blows him up. Now he's woofing and he's dancing, and they're all celebrating and laughing. Then it's the fourth snap. CMC runs. Bonito beats his man, the edge rusher, knifes into the backfield, tackle for loss. They're whooping it up. So we're 4 plays into this thing, and they're all negative plays. They're all defensive advantage Denver, and they are laughing and joking and talking shit and chest bumping and every other fucking gyration you could come up with.
By the way,
all over it.
I don't hold that against Denver. You know how?
No, but I'm just saying at this point, from the Niner perspective, you're starting to get your blood is starting to boil,
right?
Because not only you're losing every snap, but they're celebrating on your field in front of your face, talking trash to you. Okay, so now it's the fifth play.
They didn't eat a turkey, though, did they? They weren't brought out a turkey to eat on the.
Nobody busted out a turkey, but Good. It's not turkey season. All right. So fifth play. Finally, the Niners get a positive play. But Damon, you've seen this before. It was a heavy rush on Purdy, a little bootleg action where he spun out to his left. So now he's kind of going away from his throw side. His throw side's the right. So he has to flip his body around while being rushed. A sea of arms, fires this ball out to Kittle. They've connected on this play in the Niners, camp, like at will. I've seen them complete this pass 12 times. Every time it's wide freaking open. Right. This time it's like a fucking miracle. It's like it has to go through a sea of arms, through all kinds of rushers, and then it was a little bit offline, and Kittle dove and caught it and made this amazing catch. That was the 49ers' first positive play. It was on play number 5. Okay. Then things started to even out a little bit. Mac Jones found Kiner in the flat. But then Kiner on the 7th play was tackled for a loss, another win for Denver's defense. Then the Niners ran Abdullah and who knows on these run plays, right? Because you can't really tell. I mean, he ran through the defense, but he may have been tagged off early. It's hard to say. Then the next play was the 9th play. Mac threw to Taylor, and he took a huge hit, and now they're really woofing, laughing, talking trash. And then on the 11th play, that's the 9th play. On the 10th play, Purdy drops back to pass, can't find anybody, is sacked by multiple guys. Okay. So now that's the 10th play, and there were 2 positive plays. Right. One Purdy pass play through a sea of arms to Kittle, and I would still call that a really good play for Denver because they put pressure on the quarterback and they closed the window around Kittle, and they just made a great play. Sometimes, another team will make a great play. That was a great play. Very tight window, is still really good defense. So overall, the only real positive play was Mac Jones flipping it to Kiner in the flat. In the first 10 plays, they were all Denver. So this notion that the Niner offense somehow was like, they got the Niner O-line without Trent got whipped, absolutely whipped. 11th play, Taylor runs on a halfback toss, then CMC runs on the 12th play. The running plays, as I said, it's hard to really say who wins or loses on them unless they get dumped in the backfield. 13th play, Purdy found Farrell. 14th play, Kiner had a nice run. The 15th play, Bradley threw an absolute laser, Carter Bradley, to Jordan Watkins. 16th play, just a run to Abdullah. Then they took a timeout and broke. But so the Niners kind of found their footing a little bit at the end of the 15 or 16 plays that they ran. But 14 of them or 13 of them were advantage Denver. So this bullshit, the recap where the Niners really look good, put that in your pipe and smoke it. It ain't worth anything. I was standing right there. I know what I'm watching. The Niners O-line got whipped. The Denver defense won in the individual, in the beginning team drills. Now these are just the drills, right? We're not in the move the ball. We're just in the drills. It's still team. It's our offense against your defense, 1s against 1s, 2s against 2s, that kind of thing. So then there's a timeout. Then they come back. A little bit of a break. Everybody gets some water. It was a hot day. Then Taylor has a run. Purdy, threw a pass to CMC, but I think Nick Bonito had already tagged off on the sack. So, I consider that a sack. Then the next play, DJ Jones sacked the quarterback. What did I put there? Let's see I can't even read my own notes now.
Larry, you know what? My mom is in town. She needs a little help with something. I will be right back.
Okay.
I'm terribly sorry.
But this is all Denver. Purdy threw a nice slant to Robinson off a Denver blitz. Denver, that's the other thing. I'll say this. Vance Joseph, I think definitely helped the Niners out because he threw a lot of different things at the Niners. It wasn't like, vanilla coverage, vanilla this or that, easy to read this and that. They came with some exotics. They put some pressure on the quarterback. So Purdy gets blitzed. He then finds Robinson, and the ball comes out perfect, and he beats the blitz. So that was a real positive play. But then CMC ran, and he got stuffed. Then it followed by a couple of Kiner and Abdullah runs, and then Jones drops back to pass for another pass play, and he gets sacked by number 55. Then Jones found Gage for a nice little pass play, win for the Niners. Then Purdy throws a pass down the field, and it's tipped by number 47 into the air and intercepted. Purdy threw 2 interceptions on the day. Ultimately, though, I don't even put the interceptions really on Purdy. It was a 49er offensive line getting beat, and the rest of the team's just trying to, catch up. You're in practice. It's practice. You don't hold the ball. You don't take sack after sack after sack just because your O-line is allowing pressure. You still take shots down the field. You still throw the ball. You're out there to try to practice. So, I know there are people who are like, how many interceptions did he throw? First of all, that's not the issue. The issue isn't how many interceptions he threw, because he's going to throw the ball no matter what, whether it's open or not. It's not about the interceptions. It's about they couldn't pass protect up front, and they didn't have tons of separation on the back end. So the Niner offense basically
right. And
got stymied.
drills, and just to pick up what you're talking about, in these drills, Brock Purdy's not looking to throw shit away. This
right.
isn't
or run
decision day.
When Trey Lance was here, it was so frustrating because he would run like every third play, and people would be like, "Wow, look at Trey, he's really fast." I'm like, dude, you don't know shit about football practice because there's like one design quarterback run per practice.
Right. That's not the goal. That's not what we're working on here today.
Right. The goal is not for Trey to drop back to pass, look to the right, look to the center, look to the left, and run. That's not the plan. Look to the right, look to the center, miss the window. Now I'm going to run. No, that's not how it's done. So this is the second part of the session. But Purdy had that interception. Then CMC had a run. And then we did see that. Who was it for them? There was a TFL against Taylor by them. And then Purdy found Watkins, but it was incomplete. It was too deep. He let him too much. And that got us to this play, which was one of the best plays of the game, or best plays of the practice. Mac Jones went deep down the field to Robbie Chosen, who had beat Surtain on a go route. And Mac Jones throws a beautiful deep ball, and he just dropped it right on him.
Well, and look, we're going to get the Mac Jones show on Saturday, basically. I mean, it sounds like he's going to be handed the first 3 quarters of that football game.
I would imagine it's a lot of him and a lot of Carter Bradley.
And no Purdy, right? We're not going to see Brock out there. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to see any starter. I don't think in a single preseason game. And, I know that Mahomes is going to start the first preseason game, but then you're probably not going to see him the rest of the way. To me, like, there's already enough attrition of injury on this team. You cannot go into that Seattle game with, Nick Bosa's not available. That shit is just, it's victory suicide if you have to walk into a game without that. So I would just bubble wrap these. I don't want to see George Kittle have a single preseason rep. I don't. He's done. He's ready to go.
I mean, I think they're at a point now where, we pretty much just I can, wrap up the stars. I agree with you. No Bosa, no Kittle, no Trent. I asked Purdy, I said, Brock, do you want to play in the preseason? Do you need to play in the preseason? And, he was like, hey, I would like to play. He's like, you can kind of tell. I asked him the question before he had talked to Shanahan, so he didn't know what to say. He didn't know what he wanted to say. But then he just went back to the truth, which is, I always like to play.
Every guy wants to play.
Yeah, and I'd like to have a little bit of rhythm before camp starts, before the regular season starts, I mean. So I think, there's that. I think he would like to get out there. Let me see if I can play the cut because Kev had it yesterday. It's a pretty interesting cut. Yeah,
well, I mean, to me, the interesting balance of this entire preseason is going to be the 49ers have an awful lot of rookie guys that you'd like to get a little football seasoned in a preseason game, but a lot of these rookies are going to be guys that you might be depending on to be your starters. So there's this really sort of delicate balance of who plays when this preseason, especially with this rookie class, because the Niners are going to be leaning into this rookie class more than any rookie class they've leaned into in a while.
That's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, but at the same time, you can't live in fear. It's football. Anybody can get hurt at any time. I think you got to play. You got to play your guys a little bit. Here's Purdy answering my question.
Dane, how many series would you like to play in the preseason, or do you need to play to be ready for week 1?
I haven't talked to Kyle or anything about that yet in regard to the first game. But I always love getting a couple series in and stuff within with the 3 preseason games that we get. So not sure what that looks like, but I always love getting it just to get the feel for warming up for a game, how it feels, dropping back 11 on 11 in the stadium with the shot clock, like just working all the things and getting ready for game 1. Something that I've always looked forward to actually every year.
So okay, my thought on it is this, and everybody's got a different thought, but here's mine. I would like to see Purdy play a total of 5 series at max. Like 1 series, like you said, don't play, but I actually want him to play every week. I don't want him to shut it down. Rhythm is a difficult thing. He's in a good rhythm right now, and it's a difficult thing to screw with and sometimes manufacture when it's not there. He's got a rhythm right now.
I want Brock on the field unless Trent is on the field.
I hear you, but I even beyond that, I would say one series for Brock would be fine in this first game. One series for Brock would be fine in the third game. And then maybe 2 or 3 series for Brock in that middle game, just to see if he can, just to, so you can get a little,
that's fine.
Little rhythm. So I'm thinking 4 series or 5 series in 3 games, no matter how long they go. If it's a short series, then it's a short series. If it's a long series, it's a long series. But I would say 1 series in week 1, 1 series in week 3, 2 or 3 series in week 2, and that's it. That's and the rest of it, Carter Bradley, Mac Jones, and go with those guys.
Less is more. Less is more when it comes to this team starters. And I don't need a single series for George Kittle. I don't need a single series for Fred Warner or Nick
Bosa. Yeah. Demo Lenore. I mean, the guys that you can't, the Niners at this point have, 1 D lineman, Bosa, 1 linebacker, Warner, 1 DB, Lenore, who they really, their number 1 guy. I would sit those guys. I agree.
Well, and look, one man's injury is another man's opportunity, right? I started looking at the fact that Jordan James just had surgery on his finger. That's a shame. It really is for Jordan James. I thought there's a guy who needs some preseason, right? But boy, this is good news for Patrick Taylor Jr. Your guy, Corey Kiner. I want to see a shit ton of Corey Kiner this weekend.
Yeah.
Let me see Amir Abdullah. Let me see these guys.
Will. You're going to see, believe me, you're going to see all these backs because they don't have a lot of backs. Right. I mean, they are thin in the backfield to the point where I kind of almost expect them to sign another running back at some point.
Maybe shouldn't have traded Jordan Mason. Just throwing that out there.
The Jordan Mason thing was about money too. It's like, you're going to have to pay Jordan Mason, and they didn't feel like they could afford to pay him. The other thing is Jordan Mason, I think, lacks maturity. As soon as the Niners, had some issues with him last year, he just started becoming borderline unprofessional. I mean, he wasn't mean to anybody, but he just was like, he'd go up on the podium, he'd act like a 7-year-old. It's like, dude, you're a professional. You are a professional player. Whether you're young or not, you are a pro. You're not, this isn't high school. This isn't college. You can't pout because you said the wrong thing to the wrong reporter at the wrong time and somebody slapped your hand, so I don't know. There were some bad vibes there.
By the way, I know it lingered. That first taste of the media for him was so bad. I think it lingered with him all year. Let's get into.
But he looks good in Minnesota right now.
He does. Don't let Isaiah Nair look good in a Green Bay Packer preseason game too. The 49ers are dealing with all these injury issues and worried about that. But anyways, look, there was one moment that whether you were at that practice yesterday that you were at, I wasn't, but you saw it come across Twitter, and it was the Mikael Williams knee injury, which could be serious written all over it until the 49ers came out and, wiped the sweaty brow of their entire fan base and said, it's not ACL, it's a hyperextended knee. He's going to take about a week to get back. But man, that made everybody basically collectively hold their breath there for about an hour on Twitter. Did you see the actual rep against McGlinchey that put Williams on the dirt?
No, because he was on. It was another field away. I mean, I saw when he was down, and I was looking on the binocs as he was down, but it was in the red zone portion of the practice, and I didn't see him go down. It's a concern.
Or a 2-minute drill. I guess it was something that Sean Payton insisted on. They wanted a 2-minute drill. And Shanahan doesn't practice the 2-minute drill for some inexplicable reason that just will never make any sense to me whatsoever.
No, that's not true. The Niners practice the 2-minute drill. The Niners practice the 2-minute drill regularly. They don't practice the 2-minute drill in front of the media. They practice the 2-minute drill in their afternoon session after the media is there, or in their evening sessions. This is according to Shanahan, that they do practice their 2-minute drill.
They hardly ever use it. They hardly ever play fast, and pace of play has been an issue throughout basically the entirety of Shanahan's tenure here with the 49ers. It's something we've talked about every single season, and seasons that have gone to the Super Bowl and seasons that have fallen flat on their face. It's a little weird. But look, I also saw, another man's opportunity or one man's pain is another man's opportunity. It totally sucks that Jacob Cowing's not out there, man. I mean, this is a guy who maybe more than anyone else on the 49ers needs this seasoning, needs these reps, needs these opportunities to prove that he's going to be an NFL receiver. It sucks that he's not going to be out there on Saturday.
Yeah, no question. I mean, he didn't even make it to the first practice.
Yeah.
But he also had a great off season, so it'll be interesting at the cut down how they pair the roster at wide receiver. I mean, I think that's going to be really interesting. Do they keep 5? Do they keep 6? Assume there's no Ayuk, right? And so you got Ricky Pearsall, and Jawan Jennings has got that cash injury. And then Demarcus Robinson, Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, but then Robinson could be down with the suspension. So they could have a receiving core of Pearsall, Watkins, Gage, Cowing, and Robbie Chosen or something like that. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's a wide open wide receiver room for sure. We don't know about
Robbie
the suspension.
Chosen had a pretty good moment or two yesterday, and that's good. The 49ers need somebody in this wide receiver group to step up. Don't make me say Keenan Allen. If I'm talking about Keenan Allen after the 49ers game in Seattle, they have lost that game. So, look, for the Denver Broncos to come out and look really good defensively, that just means the world is sort of right, because this is led by Vance Joseph, what a lot of people think is a Super Bowl caliber defense that the Denver Broncos are rolling out there with. The Denver Broncos got a little Super Bowl buzz to them that I think maybe is like showing up a year too early, but they were a playoff team with Bo Nix last year, and there's a lot of juice behind the Denver Broncos right now. I'm going to have on my 11 a.m. live stream today Brandon Cristal, who's a reporter in Denver, talk a little bit about, how this team has fast-tracked its expectations underneath Sean Payton, and this is a really good Broncos team.
We're going to find out. I mean, it's a up and coming team for sure. Everybody is kind of the wrong series of injuries away from being pretty mediocre. But yeah, I mean, I think when you look at them, they've got a pretty good offensive line. They added Evan Ingram. You have Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims. You drafted Pat Bryant. They're looking, they have brand new running backs. I mean, it's J.K. Dobbins going to be the number one guy. They got R.J. Harvey. Somehow those guys are going to have to do the job. They brought in Evan Ingram. It's year 2 for Bo Nix. He looks really good. And then defensively, Vance Joseph is a good coordinator. Zach Allen was, it's funny. People always say, oh, you got to build in the draft. Not Denver. Zach Allen's from Arizona. DJ Jones is from San Francisco. John Franklin Myers is from the Jets. Their entire defensive front, for the most part, Malcolm Roach is from the Saints. I mean, it's all other teams. Then you got Greenlaw, Alex Singleton at that second level. You got Benito off the edge, and then they've got 3 great corners.
Obviously yesterday, but Hufanga, was he out there?
Yeah, he was. In fact, I talked to both these guys.
It's a little strange for them to practice. They've been lifetime Niners. They're now in their the second team either guy has ever played for, and their very first joint practice is right back in Santa Clara. Like, what are the odds, right?
Oh, I know. And I had a chance to shake hands with Dre after practice inside, and also say hi to Huff inside. And these are just 2 of the better Niners that you're going to find, man. I mean, just 2 of the better Niners. He's just, really. Here's Huff, by the way. He was asked after practice, or maybe, I guess it was after practice, how difficult it was for him to say goodbye to the Niners. We'll share the screen on this. Here's a little bit of Huff after practice.
How difficult was it to leave this place in the offseason?
It was very difficult. I think, I did a lot of growing here, as a young kid coming in. I graduated early from college and then came right in here. and try to grow as a man. You know, this is where I got married at. This is where I had my first kid at. And so a lot of growth was here. You know, so a lot of great memories and a lot of great experiences. You know, been to 2 NFC championships, 3, 1 Super Bowl. You know, those are memories that you'll take forever. And so for me, just to be back here is special. But I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
There you go.
We gotta deduct 2 man points for that man bun that he's rocking right there. You can't have a bun that is bigger than the actual circumference of your skull. That is his bun to skull ratio is way off there. But let me tell you, Talanoa Hufanga is the guy you want your daughter to bring home. I mean, this is just a gentleman. This is Talanoa Hufanga's dad and mom did an incredible job raising Talanoa Hufanga. What a great guy he's always seemed to be, and he still seems to be.
Dude, he's amazing, man. I mean, I can't. There were times I asked him to do an interview with me one time, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got to take a shower." And a lot of times guys will, just be like, "Hey," that's kind of like the blow off kind of thing. Like, "Hey, I don't got time." And I'm like, "No sweat, bro. No sweat. We'll catch you another time." And he's like, No, man, I'll get you. But I got to take a shower. I'm like, "No sweat." So he goes into the shower. I go interview somebody else. And as I'm interviewing somebody else, I think it was Hassan Ridgeway or something, I get this tap on the shoulder, and it's Huff. And he's like, I'm back. I'm out of the shower. I'll just be over there. And I'm like, I just gave him the kind of thumbs up. I finished up with Ridgeway. I walked 2 feet over to the right and interviewed Huff. And it's like, that's, he's a special dude, man. He's a great guy. You're totally right, Damon. Absolutely right. That is the guy that you want your daughter to marry. He's respectful. He's smart. He's principled. He's tough. He's, there's everything. There's a lot to like there, man. The Niners, you see Denver roll in and they have 4 ex-Niners and they're all great dudes. McGlinchey, DJ Jones, Huff, and Greenlaw. And it was hilarious too, because I was doing an interview with JD and Silver on KMBR, just waiting for Brock out inside, and Greenlaw comes out in the jersey and he's walking down the hall, and I see him. I'm like, "Dre," and I walk over and I went to shake his hand. He's like, "Dude, I just went lotion." So we elbow bumped. And I just said, "Hey man, good luck to you. Great to see you." And he, we just kind of dapped up a little bit, and he said, "Hey man, great to see you." And it was all caught on KMBR because it was, in the middle of my interview with those guys. So Greenlaw and Hufanga are amazing dudes, and Denver is going to benefit greatly from them. And I wish they could have stayed, but unfortunately the NFL's got a hard cap and it's very unrelenting.
So Renardo Green didn't play yesterday. That's going to affect.
He's going to be out a while.
Yeah, that's going to affect how the 49ers defense looks. There's so much talk about, Brock throwing a couple interceptions. Mac Jones threw a few interceptions too. What did you see from the 49ers defense? I like I said, I know you were on the other end of the field there, but what did you see from the 49ers defense? Was there a defensive standout moment that really caught your eye? Of course, Nick Bosa is going to win reps. We know that. What else from this defense? Like, did anybody in this 49ers secondary jump out? Did Pinnock have a good day?
Pinnock was around the ball. Upton Stout had a really good day. Lenore had a good day. Darrell Luter had to be checked for a concussion. So obviously it wasn't a good day for him. Derek Canteen, the undrafted rookie, had a really nice play on special teams. But yeah, I would say this is the one area I didn't see a lot of the 49er defense, but I did see the 49er defensive line do the one-on-ones. And Alfred Collins, who's consistently struggled in the one-on-ones, had his best day, which I couldn't believe it, because now you got Denver there. And I thought, man, Collins is really going to get stymied because he's struggled in some of the one-on-ones. But what it is that Collins just needs tutelage and coaching, and he's now starting to copy some of the other moves that the other guys have, and he's starting to understand you got to have the ability to disengage as a defensive tackle. You're not going to win in the NFL on your first effort all the time.
Right.
You're going to win. You have to, once he's got you locked up, you have to be able to either push, pull, disengage. You can't just be locked on the blocker. His job is to stay locked on you. Your job is to come off that block one way or another. He was not coming off of blocks until yesterday. He had a couple of great reps. So I thought Collins looked amazing. West continues to look good.
CJ West and Sebastian Valdez, they get off their blocks.
Right. Valdez gets off blocks. But the Niners are suddenly in a real pickle on the defensive line because
which is just, who spent more draft capital on their defensive line than the 49ers? And for them to already bringing in camp bodies, it's unbelievable sometimes.
Well, who's the starter, though? I mean, you've West in the round 4, Collins in round 2. But, I mean, are you going to make both your rookies start inside? Well, if not, you're going to have to start Jordan Elliott. He's already dinged up. He's never been – this is what concerns me. My number one concern with the Niners is that they don't have a veteran anchor inside. Jordan Elliott is a talented 310-pound guy who's always been really talented, going back to Missouri, going back to Texas. He's always been really talented. He's never quite fulfilled that potential, and he's never played a full complement of snaps. Now the Niners are like, he is the first defensive tackle that takes every rep. He's the veteran. He's supposedly the lead dog. Then you have Kevin Givens. Now Givens has got a recurrence of the pec injury. Jordan Elliott's banged up with a back. I mean, the back could be, a back for a guy like that, it could be huge. Then what's left? Evan Anderson has a bone bruise in his knee. Kalia Davis is often injured, though he's healthy now. And then it's all either street free agents or rookies. CJ West, Alfred Collins, Sebastian Valdez, and then they re-signed Michael Drumfor, and they signed Bruce Hector away from the Jets. So the Niners badly are in need of defensive tackle reinforcements. Now, defensive end, they're a little deeper, right? You got Bosa. Gross Matos is still hurt, but it's short term. He'll be working his way back.
Hear about that. I don't want to hear about that guy. I really don't. He's a rumor. This guy,
whatever.
Gross Matos has been just nothing since signing a 49ers
contract. I hear you. Then they have Robert Beal, you have Garvin, you have Bradley and Nye, you have Jalen Allen, Sam Aquinu's got a little bit of an injury. You got Bryce Huff. Now you got Mikael Williams, who's hurt. And Williams, I don't know how much time he's going to miss, but I'll say this. He missed a ton of time last year with an ankle injury. So it's a concern. It's a major concern.
Third injury. This is already his third injury at training camp.
Right. And here's the other question. Is he really a tough guy? How tough is he? Is he a glass cutter? Because guess what? Tough guys play hurt. And I'm not saying this guy should play with the injury he has. I'm just saying
right.
Sometimes you're going to have to play football in the NFL when you're less than 100%. Where I don't know if that's the rule at Georgia, because he sat out a long time with that ankle injury. He sat out an awful long time. He missed a lot of football with that ankle injury. In the NFL, unless it's real serious, you tape it up and you go. Does he have that in him to play? And does he have that grittiness? We know he's talented, but does he have the grittiness to play when he's less than 100%? Or is this guy going to be like a Ferrari? It's awesome. It looks amazing, but it's in the shop 3 months a year.
Big questions. Let's start talking about the things we will be watching on Saturday. I got a list here in no particular order. I'm going to start again with what we were just sort of talking about. This team needs to be very careful from an injury standpoint with who's getting ultimately meaningless preseason repetitions, yet they need the seasoning among their rookies, yet they're going to be using these rookies in a way that other teams use their veteran players. So finding the right balance of rookie play, protecting your assets, I think is going to be the theme of this preseason for the 49ers. Obviously, injuries are because of this. Who gets hurt, who doesn't get hurt is the biggest thing that's going to happen in this preseason. Jake Moody, Larry. Jake Moody, I heard 7 for 7 yesterday. Perfect. Jake Moody, or did almost perfect. Doinked one, maybe. I don't care about practice kicks. What do you do in the game? Do you make your in-game these actually count kicks? If Jake Moody misses one field goal in this preseason, they're going to be booing him out of the stadium. I mean, so I hope that just from it seems that the 49ers really want this racehorse to come home, and his own confidence, Jake Moody has a good game. And then the backup running backs. I mean, I think that's where the real show outside of Mac Jones is going to be. Who will establish themselves? Because they got the 3s and 4s going. We're not even going to see Garendo. So who's going to establish themselves as the 3rd or 4th guys that are kept on this team at running back? I think that's going to be fascinating too. And then, what are you doing from a cornerback standpoint? I saw that they just cut Eli Apple. Well, he didn't even last 10 days with the team. This was a guy, by the way, who was starting in the Super Bowl for the Cincinnati Bengals at corner, and then has been like a journeyman ever since. I don't know if Eli Apple's going to even be in the NFL much longer. He's been bounced around all over the place. So do they have corner depth? Do they have real running back depth? We're going to find out.
Well, that's the thing. Renardo Green and Demo Lenore and Upton Stout are their top 3 corners. Green's got the hamstring. He's not going to go. Stout has looked amazing. And then, now you've got Luter with the concussion. He really needs to play to earn a spot. You got young Jacob Robinson. You got Dallas Flowers. You got Trey Brown. That's really it. Saron Neal, who could be a little safety, a little bit of a corner. Derek Canteen, they have at safety now, but I think he's got corner experience. So yeah, I like what I've seen out of Flowers. I like what I've seen out of Jacob Robinson. But yeah, the concern is at corner, and then also the concerns at running back. The 49ers are probably going to have to add another running back because Garendo probably doesn't play in the preseason. It's funny, Baldy went on 95.7 and said that he thinks that McCaffrey could be, just basically breaking down because of all the injuries he's had. He kind of thinks that he's going to have a severe drop-off. And then if he has a severe drop-off, that's not good. Garendo obviously is not going to play in the preseason with the shoulder injury. Jordan James is going to be out a couple weeks with a broken finger, though, I would imagine if it was a Super Bowl or something, he'd probably be able to play. It's a broken finger. Patrick Taylor has been probably the most used running back in Niner camp, and he's really a special teamer. Amir Abdullah is just a guy who's floated around. He's going to get some run. To me, it's Corey Kiner is the guy to watch for sure. I want to see Corey Kiner. I want to see Mac Jones. I want to see Bradley Carter. Or Carter Bradley, I should say. I want to see Jordan Watkins. I want to see if any of these receivers, really do anything. Jordan Watkins, Russell Gage has got a great shot. Isaiah Hodgins may have a shot. There's money on the table for those receivers for sure. And then, you know what? I think the Niners have a very, very significant problem at tackle. Okay. And,
well, how about this? Even if you think Larry's wrong about that, you are one Trent Williams or Colton McKivitz away from having a very serious problem at tackle officially. If you like, those 2 guys basically have to remain healthy all year.
Trent Williams is in his 18th year or whatever. It's like, and Colton McKivitz looks good. He looks like he's going to have a really good year. He's primed.
Running the hills of San Francisco. That reminds me of Jerry Rice running the hills of the South Bay to get ready for camp, right?
Yeah, McKivitz was running the Vallejo Street Hill. I would have loved to have seen that. But yeah, McKivitz is in a contract year. So he's fine and Trent's fine. The problem is Dillard's been hurt, Andre Dillard, so we haven't seen him. And then Spencer Burford and Austin Pleasance are just 2 of the slowest footed tackles that you're going to see. I don't think
is off the rose.
I'll say this, you either do or you don't, you either can or you can't. And there's not a lot of ambiguity to any of this stuff. And you just got to decide what you believe. I believe that Burford is too slow to play offensive tackle in the NFL. I believe that Austin Pleasance is too slow to play tackle in the NFL.
Which is odd because he looked crisp in that first mini camp. He was impressive.
Great. You look great, but that's, this once again, it's like, this is why, and I've told myself this, and it's like, I got to remind myself, this is why I didn't go crazy about Brock Purdy in 2022 in minicamp, because I saw it in minicamp, but it was minicamp. And I'm like, I can't put this much on minicamp. And then I broke my own rule this year with Austin Pleasance because he looked that good. And it wasn't just me. When I went and talked to Furster was blown away by what Austin Pleasance looked like in OTAs. The size, the strength, the explosion, the speed, it was amazing. Now you get him in one-on-ones against Bryce Huff, against any number of edge rushers, and he's too slow. And as far as Burford's concerned, I've seen Burford false start 4 times this camp that hasn't been called once. I mean, they're not. What are they doing? What are they doing? Do you really think you're helping Spencer Burford in the regular season by not calling false starts against him in training camp when they're obvious false starts? I've seen 4 of them. 4 false starts from Spencer Burford where he kicks out to get the speed rusher. And if he doesn't kick out a half second early, he's not getting him. And that's why he's kicking out a half second early. And he doesn't have enough speed, and it's going to get Purdy killed or Jones killed or somebody killed. So Burford's not the answer. Pleasance, I don't think, is the answer. So then it comes down to, is Isaiah Prince the answer? I don't know. Is Andre Dillard the answer? I don't know.
We haven't seen
Do
yet.
they have to go outside the organization for a swing tackle? They might. I felt very fortified at this position coming out of the OTAs, and I feel like that's a problem spot now. But we'll see. We haven't seen Dillard. He was a former first-round pick. He had a decent little uptick, I thought, in his performance in Green Bay. They said he's close to returning. Maybe Andre Dillard commandeers that third tackle spot. Maybe it's Isaiah Prince, but to me, it's wide open.
Looking at some preseason pain already being suffered around the NFL. You had Ravens corner Bilal Cohn tear a ligament in his left knee, kind of a gruesome injury. At least that's been the way it's been reported. I didn't see it, and I don't seek gruesome injuries to see how gruesome it really was, but I'll take everyone's word for it.
He's a great talent too, Bilal Cohn, I believe, but he's really a talented guy. He played at Western Michigan. Really good 40 time, long corner, good player, nice little addition.
That's a 6th rounder, I think so. But they were trying to get something out of him, and that's unfortunate. You and I and what Sammy the other day were talking about our biggest offseason moves, and all of us included C.J. Garner-Johnson going to the Houston Texans. It was reported yesterday that he might have torn his ACL. The Texans have walked that back a little bit, but he has a serious knee injury that will take time to recover from, but apparently it is not structural. I don't know. You just raised your eyes like you didn't know about that, Larry.
No. I saw the headline, but I thought they had cleared him and said that he did not tear the ACL. And you're saying he did.
He didn't. He did.
He did. He did not.
Originally, like, this is bad. This is an ACL. And then the Texans walked that back and said, not so fast. It's not that severe. But in what is going to, I don't care who else get hurt along the rest of the way. And as devastating an injury as you're going to find any NFL team suffer this year, Jim Harbaugh's Chargers, who just extended Rashawn Slater, 4 years, $113 million, ruptured his patella tendon, done for the year, and officially now has to play under the moniker of damaged goods. And he's not even going to get it.
Too. I actually saw it.
Yeah, he's not going to get to week 1 of his huge extension. That's brutal on the team. That's brutal on the front office. That's brutal on the cap. That's bad.
And if you saw it, there was nothing there. He did it against air. It didn't even look like it really buckled. Sometimes you see a guy's knee and he does it against air, but you can kind of see there's like some trauma with the way he kind of bent or whatever. You couldn't even see trauma. It's just like he came out of his stance and all of a sudden he just went down in a heap. Yeah. And it was against air. So, man, Rashawn Slater, loved him at Northwestern. He's a great young player. That's a bad break. I'll tell you the other one I thought we haven't touched on yet, but John Lynch said there's no timetable for the return of Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings. They're holding tight to the Jennings injury is not about a holdout or a hold in, that it's all calf related. But I mean, hey, look at it this way. If I'm the Niners, I don't want to pay Juwan Jennings an extension. And guess what? This calf injury, think about it logically. If it was a real calf injury, that would make you not want to give this guy a contract extension, would it not? He's a player.
It's lingering.
Yeah, you've got a lingering calf injury. Calf injuries can sometimes be Achilles injuries. They can be misdiagnosed. And this guy has not been can't play because of a calf injury. That's the last guy I want to extend. So here's the thing. If the Niners extend Juwan Jennings, chances are the calf injury was a bunch of crap. And if they don't extend Juwan Jennings, which, I wouldn't, I definitely wouldn't, especially if this calf injury is legit, I wouldn't extend him. I mean, come on. Why would you? He's he's the 42nd highest paid receiver in pro football. If you said, where does he rank with receivers? He probably ranks around 40th.
Yeah.
So come on, man. What are we talking about? At the end of the day, everybody loves him, but their stated position is they're going to be ruthless in negotiations. And now they're saying that this is not a holdout or a hold in. This is all related to his calf. And then when Shanahan was asked about it, he's like, go ask him. But then Mayoka was asked about it, and he's like, it shows up, meaning that it shows up on the imaging. So, okay, it shows up, but is it going to show up in week 1 if he's playing? Did it show up late in the year? Something tells me the MRI would show something on that calf, no matter when you did the MRI. The question is, can he, to what degree is he sitting out because of the holdout versus the calf?
Well, we know what the 49ers code word is for our veteran isn't playing today because we don't want to get him hurt. Sore. Nick Bosa's been sore. Sore Nick Bosa does not play. When a guy's that I think that's the word they're using this season. That's their new buzzword for, we want to give a guy a day off. We're going to label him as sore.
But this guy has already come out and said, well, and I don't even know for sure because, first it came out, Juwan Jennings wants to either get a contract extension or he wants to be traded. And then Shanahan, last month said he is not officially asked to be traded. But then, another report came out, said that he will be seeking a change of scenery if he doesn't get his contract reworked. And now he's sitting out all of camp with a calf injury. Right. I mean, once again, if he's holding out, and then it's a matter of, well, do you want to extend him or not? But if he's really got a calf injury, then why would you ever extend him right now? I mean, it's just so sorry if I don't believe the calf injury or the imaging. What's not stated there is, does any kind of calf pain, has it, shown up on any of the imaging when he has played? I just, the whole thing, it just, I just feel it's like plausible deniability. It's like we're in that area right now. And I get it. They love JJ. He's their guy, and this and that. And they want the story to go away, but they don't really know how to make it go away because they don't want to pay him. They haven't been able to work out an extension, but they don't want to trade him. But it's like, but then he's not practicing, but it's not that he's holding in. It's not that he's holding out, but every other player that's rehabbing is actually on the field that we see rehabbing, except for JJ, who's working with the Niners staff, according to Lynch, but nobody can see it. And there's no indications of it. So whatever.
Look, I would like to see Juwan Jennings protected in some way by the 49ers, but when it comes to the Niners and injuries, I just got to be honest. I don't trust them. I think the Niners are very comfortable downplaying, lying, if not straight up covering up injuries. I'll never forget Christian McCaffrey went from game time decision to Germany.
Yeah. Suddenly he's looking at plasma-rich injections and stuff, and it's nothing. It's nothing.
It's no big deal. The game time decision. Fly him to another continent. It's just okay. So, look, I am excited for preseason football. At the same time, I kind of hate preseason football because really there's more shit that can go wrong than you can actually find went right that will. How about that? There's not a single positive play in the preseason that can really affect your regular season. But there are negative plays which can alter your regular season dramatically. So be very, very careful with who plays, who goes. Again,
well, I mean, there's different philosophies.
Brock Purdy with a new contract playing a single snap without Trent Williams to me is just malpractice.
Which philosophy do you prefer? Do you prefer Shanahan's philosophy or McVay's philosophy? Shanahan's philosophy is it's football and your players have to play and you build up calluses that help you get through the season by what you do in training camp. And that's his philosophy. Sean McVay's philosophy is I'm getting to week 1 with all of my money guys intact, and I will trade rust in September for health. And that's what he's doing. He's saying, you know what? I'm not playing like Aaron Donald didn't play a snap of the preseason. Stafford's got a back problem right now with a disc issue. But even if he was healthy, Stafford doesn't play a snap in the preseason. What would you rather be? Would you rather never play any of your guys and maybe toss a game in September? Or would you rather build up those calluses and take a risk on injury?
I'll go with a guy who's won the Super Bowl. And I'll fade the guy who's got injuries that have prevented him and dude showing up to Super Bowls a little bit too banged up. Nothing matters before week 1. I really believe that. I really believe that. I appreciate the calluses and all that stuff, but these guys train year round. It's not like these are grocery store clerks in the off season who need to come and get back into football shape. They show up day 1 of training camp in phenomenal shape for the most part across the board. This is about asset protection. And I think you have to protect your assets that you're going to need in the regular season. I do. Now there's the whole iron sharpens iron. And yeah, like that's great. And there is truth to it. There is no doubt there's truth to it, but there are certain guys that might need it, and there are certain guys who clearly don't. Everyone who checks the box that clearly doesn't need this preseason meaningless rep, don't put them out there. Don't expose them. Don't expose them at all. Let me tell you, George Kittle gets hurt this preseason. We can start talking about the 2026 49ers right now. Okay? That's it. He is their best receiver.
I've changed my position on this. I used to be in that position of, you know what? It's a rough game. Guys can get hurt at any time, and put your guys out there and roll the dice. But as time goes on and the best players really do make crazy money, and it does seem like there's like 2 levels. You've got this, the top level guys and who aren't replaceable. And then you got 35 guys that are totally replaceable. And I wouldn't let my top level guys get out there. And if I got to trade some first half rust in week 1 against Seattle, or even a loss in week 1 against Seattle,
all of these coaches, I mean, let me tell you what used to matter in football. When the world revolved around 4 or 5 preseason football games, then your week 1 results felt like they mattered more. Week 1 is the biggest false indicator in all of football right now, and the results you get out of week 1, 2, and 3. Smart teams, I think, use September to officially tune up their real players now, and this is the deal that the league has made with the devil. You want another regular season game? Well, you got to take away a preseason game. You're de-emphasizing preseason games. As you said, an injury can occur at any time. So I don't want an injury to occur in all this bullshit doesn't matter time.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Let's finish the stream. We'll hit a couple of supers here, but let's finish the stream with a couple up notes since there's a lot of negativity, but let's go with let's hit a couple positives here. This is Jordan Watkins at practice yesterday, burning Surtain, or not Surtain. This is not Surtain. But still, that's a bomb.
That's nice. That's a nice ball. That's a nice throw. That's a nice dusting of the corner.
Yeah.
By the way, I heard Cortland Sutton had a really good practice yesterday.
Didn't see it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't see it because I was watching. It was one of those things, Damon. You really had to choose, right? You had to choose like Niners offense or Niners defense, and I chose Niners offense. And I don't know if I should, but that's
it's almost like you need two people to go cover one team now for one channel.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's not even that much of a made up thing. It's kind of true. One last one here. This is also pretty good. I'm going to see if I can get this and show it to you guys because I thought this was kind of a good rep. I told you guys initially that one of the real positives was the one-on-ones, the rookie one-on-ones. And Damon's been out there and he's seen the one-on-ones, and they're really fun to watch. Collins has been wired to blocks, and he made some real progress here on this rep, and I just want you guys to watch this. So that last throwaway there has been what he hasn't come. He's bull rush, but he's been stoned right there. Totally stonewalled. But now he threw that guy away, and he had a couple of plays like that. And you see Kosaric, really woofing, and guys really, because that's what they want to see. They want to see, just because you're neutralized, the down's not over. You still got to keep fighting and trying to win. And Collins looked really good yesterday. And this was one of the reps. He looked good. He had another rep.
Dude, look at it.
Okay. He bull rushed and he looked really powerful.
Not exposing his chest. Look at the bend at the hips right there.
Yeah.
He's at a 45-degree angle. And Collins will be beat with leverage. Leverage McLeverage is going to be coming for Alfred Collins his entire career. Keeping his pads low is going to be the center of, is he a good player or is he just a guy in the middle? So
let's hit some supers, Damon, before we jet. We got 8 of them here. Scotty D in the house said, I learned in the heat of Rockland 40 years ago, best to stay home in AC and wait for week 1. Everything else is worry, wart, noises, bang, bang. Scotty, I love it.
Not
Fuji
wrong.
Simeon, is bottom of the pint a go? Damon, are you joining?
I would love to, but I got my mom in town, so probably I keep on saying I'll do it. We're going to run out of baseball season before I join you in Lund for one of these, but I will. That's just not this weekend.
Just join us in October.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
We'll see. I don't know about bottom of the pint. I got to check with Lund. Let me see if Lund has sent me a text. Here, I'll text Lund as we speak here.
Wow, look at that. We got against 23 coming in with a nice super. Thank you very much. Visalia is in the house. I'm worried about our wide receiver selection. Are you guys honest? And then there's something there at the very end of that. I don't know.
Here we go.
Are you guys, to be honest? Yeah, I am worried about 49er wide receiver depth as well. I think you have to be until they've shown you that they've replaced these problems with the guys that they have. If Ricky Pearsall is something, if Jordan Watkins is something, then our worries will absolutely start fading away. But until they prove that they can do it, I don't want to hear Jacob Cowing's name. That guy had 4 catches, only 4 more catches than I had in last NFL season.
I like this group of wide receivers. I really do. I mean, Pearsall looks good. Obviously, Jennings is Jennings. He's very, very solid. Watkins has looked good. Cowing's had a great offseason until camp started. I still believe he's going to be something because I thought he was good in college. Demarcus Robinson has been a revelation. Now, Gage has been really good in this camp. Very good. I think Gage is going to make the team. The rest of these guys, Tariq Owens, Junior Bergen, I
don't think so.
Robbie Chosen had a nice bomb. He can run well, but he's a kind of a journeyman. Equanimous St. Brown.
The minute I saw Jordan Watkins fielding punts the other day, I thought, oh, that's bad news for Junior Bergen.
Yeah, I'm not seeing, I mean, it's kind of fries my bacon, to be honest. It's like you had a return guy from Montana State that anybody could have signed as an undrafted guy. You had a connection to him, so you easily could have got him as an undrafted guy, but instead you used a 7th round pick on a guy who's just a return guy because he's super special. I haven't seen the super special, and I would have used that pick on Willie Lampkin. I would have had a better offensive lineman.
Devin Hester? Is he Devin Hester? Okay, because you want to draft Devin in the 7th round, but if he's not drafting Devin Hester, don't draft him.
Well, I mean, if he's super special, that's one thing, but I'm not seeing super special yet, so we'll see. Maybe it's just I'm not seeing it.
But for Brock, And his super specialness, I know, is still debated every day on the internet, but like you don't find super special in the 7th. You just don't. It's not.
This was
there.
a deep draft. There was a lot of really good players. I could have given you 20 great names of guys that could be helpful to the 49ers that they didn't take. I thought the Bergen pick was a bad pick. Joseph Ehrenberg, heard Trent was laughing at the Niners too. What the fuck? No, he was not laughing. I heard Grant say that. He was not laughing at the Niners. He was just having a good time with his boys. He was standing next to Greenlaw. He was standing next to some guys he knew. Everybody was having a good time. It was, you got to remember this. Just because the defense is woofing, that's what defensive players do. They woof, and that's like the universal feel good. It was not disrespect to the Niners. I know it played to some people like they were laughing at us. No, they weren't laughing necessarily at the Niners. It was more just they were celebrating the success that they were having in the scrimmage.
Dude,
and
all you need to do is watch the Niners go 11 on 11, first team offense, first team defense. First team offense makes plays all day. Nothing. No big deal. The minute the Niners first team defense makes a play, they celebrate it like we need a team picture. They want to run to the end zone and do the turnover B-boy pose and all that stuff. It's just the way defense has to be governed by emotion. Offense has to be governed by control.
I guarantee you, if you said to Trent Williams, "Hey, Trent, we saw you on the field on Thursday. You were laughing at your teammates," he'd be like, "Nah, man.
No, I wasn't.
No, I wasn't. I was hanging with Dre, man. We were talking, we were chopping it up. We were having a good time." He was not laughing at his teammates. Ryan Alloy, Lombardi with an E. All went according to plan. Everyone, other writer, journalist, lots of issues. Yeah, I mean, Dave's a positive fella. And back to this one for a second. I'll tell you one thing I am not doing in 2024, 2025, I should say. I'm not doing content creator beef this year. I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I don't care about it. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting caught up in it. I would advise you all to do the same. We're all there covering a practice. None of us are going to score a touchdown. None of us are going to sack the quarterback. None of us are going to pick off a pass. We are observers of the situation. And if Dave's observation is that, man, the Niners look good, then maybe Dave saw it that way. I mean, Dave's credible. Dave's smart. You know what I mean? I'll say that. Grant's credible. Grant's smart. That's the beauty of the world. We all see the same movie, and then you tell your friends it sucked, and then I tell my friends it's a must see. You know what I mean? It's like, right. It's just the way let's not get caught up in that. I would probably tend to side with the people that say there were lots of issues that all went according to plan. But I'm not going to rip Dave for saying that all went according to plan. I saw his stuff. I stood right next to him during practice. We talked throughout practice. He saw what I saw. He saw Denver's defensive front dominating the Niners early, but then the Niners rebounded in the team portion. And then Purdy hit Robinson, and he hit Watkins, and he hit Pearsall. And the Niners, it was much more of an even practice by the time it ended. It was not a one-sided deal. It was early on. Okay. Oh, wait, here we go. As painful as it seemed, don't you think?
Let me also say, and just echo what you were saying. I too, Larry, refuse to participate in petty content creator nonsense.
I'm not going to start any, and I'm not going to comment on any.
It's a waste of our viewers' time. It's a waste of our viewers' precious time. They come here to hear about the 49ers, not whose column was most accurate that day.
I'm here to cover Upton Stout, not Matt Mayoko. All right. Scotty D says, as painful as it seemed, don't you think Kyle wants Brock to learn to make plays without Trent to prep for that possibility in the season? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a great point by Scotty D. Thank you, Scotty, for that.
And that is a good point.
You got
your season might die.
Right. Well, but bottom line is you gotta take a look at it. And this is more along the lines of what you said before. Let's not get more guys hurt. MSQ, not saying Burford is Lane Johnson or near that type of player Lane Johnson is, but doesn't Lane Johnson kick out a lot to get his spot in time? Yes, he does. There's no question. I was thinking the exact MSQ. I was thinking exactly the same thing as I was watching Burford kick out early. And I thought to myself, Lane Johnson does this all the time, and he's going to Canton. But Burford's doing this, and it's like he's going to, the bench. So we'll see. That once again, it's practice, and all I can tell you what I see. But I've watched a lot of football practice in my life, and to me, what Burford is doing is false starting.
It is,
and we will see come the preseason if he gets called for it, and if what I'm seeing is right, and if the old saying you practice the way you play, then get ready. I'll put the over under on Burford false starts in the preseason at 2.5, and I'll take the over. We'll see. That's a major problem, though. It's a major problem, because you've got to be able to pass protect. MSQ, I know you have a bias against JJ Krug. No bias against JJ. Come on. But what would you do if you're in JJ's situation? You seem very passionate about the situation. I'm just passionate, period, about a lot of things, including everything associated with this football team.
Except
what I'm really passionate about is seeing this football team getting the 6th Lombardi trophy. That's what I'm most passionate about. I don't give a crap about JJ's situation. I don't care if they extend him. I don't care if they tell him to go fly a kite. I don't care if they trade him. I don't care if they keep him. To me, he's not that kind of a difference maker. He's not Jerry Rice. He's not Terrell Owens.
Right.
I'm not that concerned. I think JJ is a warrior. Like, what do I actually think of JJ? I think he is a warrior. And I can't really give a wide receiver a higher compliment than that. I think he is a true warrior. I trust JJ I would go to JJ on 3rd, and my life is on the line on this team. I trust him. I think he's tough. I think he's smart about football. I think he's a good Niner. I would love to see him get paid and stay. But this, I have no bias against JJ. I have more pushback and more passion against being lied to. Just tell me the truth. Everybody, guess what? It's 2025. We can handle the truth. It's okay to say JJ wants more money and he ain't going to play a freaking down until he gets more cash. You know what? You want to stand on business? Stand on business. Be real. If I want more money, I shouldn't be like, well, you know what? I may not show up. I may do this. I'm going to stand on business. I'm not going to be like, well, you know what? I'm not on the radio today because I got a little bit of a throat thing going. If in reality I want 50 grand more and the radio station's telling me go get lost. So you want to stand on business, stand on business.
Right. The whole
if you want to be the guy that wants more money, be that guy. Lean into it. Don't be I'm that guy, but I don't want to be that guy. And I just the whole thing kind of sickens me. It's like, dude, you have a contract. Colton McKivitz has a contract. He's showing up. You have a contract. Why aren't you? Where are you? Colton's there. Where are you? You're both free agents at the end of the year. Be a pro. That's that's how I feel.
I think there are certain guys who've reached a level of, all right, I'm the kind of guy who gets to hold out and rattle my saber. I don't think Juwan Jennings has established himself as a saber rattler quite yet. And so
he's tough. He's a good player. He's a really good player, and he's been underpaid, and I get it. This is what happens in the NFL. You come in and you're just like, I'm just going to fight and claw and play. And then you get to like your mid-20s and you're like, hey, man, this thing's almost over for me. And if I don't get some cash, I'm going to have a second career. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, man, I got to draw the line. So I am all about the players getting every penny. And I hope he gets everything he wants and then some. But once again, this is a free agent. He signed a contract. I mean, you just signed this contract last year. Okay. So, I mean, if this were me, if I were JJ and my father were alive and I went to him with this, he'd say, did you sign the contract? Yeah. Did they sign the contract? Yeah. Then live up to your commitments. We've way too many people in this world that just don't live up to their commitments. They cheat on their family. They cheat on their job. They cheat on their taxes. Fulfill your commitments. Let's start there.
I'm just going to golf
MSQ.
clap. I'm going to golf clap that little lesson for America right there, Larry. You need to fulfill your commitment to better sun protection.
MSQ, bottom of the pint tonight. MSQ, let me see.
Did you hear back from Lund?
Not yet. But I'm hoping. Should I call Lund just out of the blue? Nah, I won't do it.
No.
I'll call him after the show. MSQ, you'll have to wait for that later today. I'm sorry, but thanks for the $1.99. Matthew Short says, Larry, are we still a 10-win team with our offensive line issues? Yes. Well, let me just say this. This is one thing I'm going to hit on.
How about this? Your offensive line issues lead to Brock being hurt. That's your first step off that 10-win path. That's for sure.
I'll just say this. The schedule, the idea that the Niners schedule is just absolute cake is, I think, a fallacy. Okay? The 49ers last year, do you know what they went in the division, Damon? 1-5.
Okay.
They had dominated the division 2 years in a row prior to that. But last year they went 1-5. I look at the NFC West, all of those 6 games are going to be absolute wars. There's no way the Niners are going to win any of those games easy. Those are 6 tough physical games against teams that know you well. So that's 6 tough games. At Tampa is going to be a tough game. Home against the Falcons is going to be a tough game. At Houston is going to be a tough game. Playing the Browns in Cleveland is always tough. So now you've got 10 tough games. So what does that mean? That means the Niners have 6 or 7, I think, very winnable games. What are they? At New Orleans, home against Jacksonville, at the New York Giants, home against Carolina, home against Tennessee, home against the Bears. Those are probably the 6 gimmies. And even then, I wouldn't say they're true gimmies, but they're going to go 5-1 probably, maybe 4-2 at worst again in those 6 games. So I would say about the Niners schedule, they have 4 or 5 or maybe even as many as 6 very, very winnable games. But they also have 10 tough games. And that's how I feel about it. So, I mean, I just think that it's going to be a tough – I'm not saying they're not going to win 10 games. I do think they're going to win 10 games. But they're going to have to win at least 2 games in the division to get there.
There are no easy NFL games, but some on their surface are easier than others. So, I mean, I just look at it simply as the 49ers – they need to handle their business each and every week. But right now, they are favored, I believe, in 15 of their 17 games. They are playing against the worst existing winning percentage results from last year, and they're playing against the worst presumed win-loss records and, estimated who's going to be good. They're playing against the worst winning percentage last year, and they're playing against the worst estimated winning percentage this year.
Yeah. And it's the worst statistical. It's not just the easiest statistical schedule of the year. It's the easiest statistical schedule in 10 years. So all that jives. But, and it's a gigantic butt.
It's a huge butt.
It's a big old butt. Tina's got a big old butt. Which was
Should
great.
She be wearing those pants? Really?
What was that song? Tina's got a big old butt. Was that LL? I forget it was just amazing. It was an amazing song.
Doing the butt, I think was the song. And then he's giving out like, Rita's got a big old butt. Oh, yeah. Nika got a big old butt. Oh, yeah. It's a great song. Who did this? Great cameo? Doing the butt. Shake it.
The big butt here is the last 2 teams that entered a season with what the Niners have going up against the easiest statistical schedule, finished with losing records. The last 2 teams that have been in this spot have finished with losing records. So be careful what you wish for. All right, a couple more. Leverage, or Harry Johnson, yes, says leverage McLeverage, question mark. Yes, he was there. DJ Jones. Any relation to Freddie P. Soft? Not that I know of. MSQ, should we expect all the rookies to play tomorrow? Yes.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But again, there's the balance, man.
Like no McHale.
How about this? If CJ West looks really good in the first half, I don't want to see him in the second.
Here's we got this one. Tyler, he says Aeneas Peebles and Ty Robinson looked like monsters. Okay, Peebles is with the Ravens. Robinson is with the Eagles. Okay, so I love both those guys. Was arguing for both of them in the draft. I didn't see Peebles, but I love Peebles, and he was going to be one of my guys that I really, really wanted. 6 feet, pass rusher, awesome. Love him. He's going to play 10 years in the NFL and be great. Ty Robinson, I've heard, has looked good, but I did watch last night after my terrible sunburn stream. I went and sat on the couch and watched Ravens Eagles. Who did the Eagles play? I forget, but Eagles somebody last night.
Was it Eagles Colts? Who was that?
No, it's Colts Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Who was it? Eagles. It'll come to me. Anyway, I was watching the Eagles, and Ty Robinson, the Nebraska kid who played next to my guy Nash Hutmacher.
Eagles Bengals.
The Bengals, when they ran the ball, they kicked Ty Robinson out of the club. I thought he was so much stronger than that. This guy could not anchor against the run at all. I mean, Ty Robinson got destroyed in the run game. I mean, he is getting pushed out, kicked around, turned around, buried in the dirt. So I'm with you on both those guys. But what I saw of Ty Robinson, I thought he looked horrible. So I got to check that a little bit more. I didn't see the whole game. Propa, Larry, I know you don't want content creator beef, but if Damon lines up across from you as a receiver, are you locking him up? Yes, but that pre-stroke, I think he probably could beat me off the line. Post-stroke, I think I could get him.
If you're even, you're leaving.
Damon, I know he's more of a possession receiver, so I can hug up on him, knowing that he can't run by at this stage.
At some point during that one-on-one matchup, I'm going to be like, should we just stop playing football and roll a joint? And
Ricardo Rodriguez says, great show as always, fellas. Lowry, what's your honest take on CMC's health and loss of step? Also, how's Guarendo's injury? Thanks, fellas. Go Niners. Guarendo's got a shoulder, and he's going to be out the entire preseason, and maybe that's all I know about that. As far as CMC's health, I think CMC does look like he's a half step slower. He looks a little thicker, a little bulkier, but I'll say this: he's got
saving it.
He's got a lot of. Christian is so. I mean, Christian's got a smiley face guy, soft spoken guy. So I think people think of him that way. But you know what? He is a steely, icy competitor. The Niners will get whatever he's got.
Right. How about this? Every single snap he's played in the NFL as a healthy football player, he's kicked ass. He's
a great player.
A lack of health, less ass gets kicked. If he stays healthy this year, I think he's going to be very, very good and in the center of everything that the 49ers do, to the point where you're actually saying, Kyle, get him off the field. Don't need him anymore.
They gotta use him the right way, and they got to use the other guys this year. Scotty D, if Larry interviewed JJ today in the locker room, he would show him respect and ask good questions on football without snark. Of course. Hey man, that's what I do. I interview players all the time, on the field, in the locker room, off the field, on the YouTube channel. I've been doing this for a number of years. I have never, ever had a rough or angry exchange with a player ever. Now, I'm not the hardest hitting reporter. I'm not going, you dropped that ball on 3rd and 5. What happened? That's not me. I'm much more likely to walk up to you and say, hey, JJ, how'd you spend your off season? Were you here? Were you in Tennessee? What did you do? What do you think of your Vols this year? I'm more like, I just want these guys to have a little fun and let their hair down and kind of be people, be dudes. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. Talk a little ball. I just want to talk a little ball. You know what I mean?
The best responses come when you disarm the subject.
Totally. Right. I consider you actually, I don't know if I've ever said this to you, but I consider you one of the best interviewers I've ever heard. And being a good interviewer is not about showing what you know. It's about making the person break down their walls. What's a real compliment to me in an interview? And I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel strongly about this. When a player drops an S-bomb, because that means they forgot they were even being interviewed and they forgot they were even on YouTube or the radio or whatever, and they're just being a dude talking to another dude. And that's what I like, when the guy be like, hey man, how about that play? And the guy be shit. No, right. Like, oh, and they'd be like, I love that, because it really does reminds me that, you know what, we've broken down the walls of I'm media, you're a player, and I love the players. Why do I love the players? Because football players at their core are very simple and very good people. And I know there's guys that have problems with the law, and there's not everybody's a good guy. I get it. But for the rank and file NFL player is a good guy.
Yeah.
And I do respect them, and I do admire them for the gladiators that they are. And I try to show them that respect. And I think that in turn they feel it. And then they show me respect.
The best, and also just, being there ever present, and you really are. You have established yourself as an around the team nearly everyday guy, and they respect that. And as always, the single best interview you can do isn't an interview. It's a conversation. If you can turn your interview into a conversation, that's where the meat starts coming off the bone.
Two last ones. Joseph Ehrenberg, how worried are you on the wide receiver and running back room?
Galactically. Thank you,
Joseph. I just think I'm not really worried, but I think they could probably – I think the Niners ought to be looking at the waiver wire at a number of positions, including those two at the cut down. There will be some good players that shake free that they could utilize, and we'll see if they can land any. Ehrenberg says, any timetable on Mustafa? Damon would burn you. As far as Mustafa, I don't have a timetable on Mustafa. I will say this. I love Mustafa. I think Mustafa is going to be awesome.
Hopefully he gets back, man.
Yeah, hopefully he gets back. That's going to do it for us. Damon, what do you got cooking the rest of your Friday?
Outstanding show, Larry. Thank you very much. You've given me 4 compliments in your entire life. That was one of them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I know I'm not a very complimentary guy. I'm sorry. My wife tells me that too. She's like,
I'm not either.
You wouldn't hurt to mix in a compliment.
You know what? You tell Amy whether you get the Corey Kiner double or nothing steak. I'm going to get her a steak anyway. She's right about that. Thank you, Amy. Let's see. I've got Brandon Cristal, who's been covering the Denver Broncos for years in Denver. We met when we were both working, doing weekends on CBS Sports, and really good, talented guy. We're going to not just talk about the practices and what we're going to watch, but really, who are these Denver Broncos? Are they going to be a team that really does, do they think they got Super Bowl aspirations? Forget about the media. So we're going to talk about that. And he's an excellent listen. So we'll learn a little bit more about where to put our eyes on Saturday at 5:30, and I hope everyone brings their eyes over to Damon Bruce Plus around 5:30 on Saturday. Let us be your second screen. We're going to be watching the game up here and talking about football down here. And I thank everyone. Please hit like and subscribe. Larry, again, it's not the training camp is over and preseason's over, but it feels like football's really about to start tomorrow. You've done an excellent job in between the last game of last year and the first game of this year. Your shit's great, man. And I'm really happy that we have now taken this show and established it. I think is one of the biggest shows that happens about the 49ers. Wake Up is a brand that we have built. And I think we're kicking ass. So thanks for everyone joining us. Means an awful lot. And Lowry, I'm going to let you wrap up another outstanding broadcast.
I would just say I'm going to stream next right now with Chase Sr. We went a little longer than I thought we were going to go today, but that's because it was a good stream. We got a lot to get to. Chase is going to stop by next. I'll be doing Niners Nightly at 6 o'clock, YouTube only tonight because Giants baseball returns to the radio. I may be doing Bottom of the Pint later tonight with John Lund. I'll be at the game tomorrow. Doing pre, doing post, doing all that stuff. So for Damon, I'm Larry. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.